Hey, thanks so much for joining me to do an interview about the impact of COVID-19 in your during college. Um, First, easy question I got for you is just a little introduction, your name, what school you're from, and what grade level you're at.
So I'm Brody Bissonette. I'm from the University of North Dakota, and I'm a senior.
All right, awesome. The first question I got for you is how has it impacted your schooling, and specifically, how has it impacted your schooling performance?
So this semester I was able to take only 12 credits instead of 15 because I have the automatic scholarship. So, I mean, that was a little nice that I didn't have to take the 15 credits. So the 12 credits has made it a little bit easier to adapt to the online, the hybrid classes. So, um, I mean, GPA wise, it hasn't really changed much. I guess one thing I could say is in some of my courses, I feel like I'm probably not learning as much as I would if I was actually in class instead of being online. That could just be just the professor's way of teaching, that they prefer the in class instead of online. So they might struggle with it a bit.
Sure. Next question I got for you is what are your thoughts on how the university has handled the pandemic?
Um, I mean, at first I agreed with their decision to keep campus open, to allow the students to come back. I mean, they handled it pretty well when all the COVID cases started spiking back in September and August. I mean, their decision to come back after Thanksgiving and try to implement something quick to say just stay home. I mean, I agree with that. That they just want this. They want the best for the university and best for the students. I mean, I'm just curious on what happens next semester, what they decide. I mean, I thought they handled it pretty well. That they were answering all the questions from everybody with their segments with the president, and yeah.
Right. Okay. A follow-up question on that one. Um, what do you wish the university would have done differently than they did, and what do you think they did well with? You kind of answered that a little bit. Um,
Um, I mean, I don't know how much differently they could have done. I mean, I'm just glad they didn't go fully online. Like we still had the ability to go in on campus. I mean, I just wish we had more opportunities to go in on campus. But I mean, due to the regulations and how bad North Dakota has gotten, it's understandable that this is what we have to deal with until everything dies down. Um, I mean, yeah, like I said, I thought they did well with that, just trying to figure out a plan and sticking to the plan instead of panicking and just closing down campus, especially when all the spikes started happening. They just expected it to happen. So,
right.
and after everybody coming back, so they didn't like panic or anything and just start closing down all the campuses. They still allowed us to come in and do everything.
Okay. How do you feel the teachers have adapted?
Um, I mean, one of my professors, I feel like the older generation professors are struggling a bit. I mean, I have one professor who he admitted that he didn't like the online stuff because he likes interacting with the students, and he has a hard time interacting with them because most of the time people just put their blank screen and it's just talking to a dark screen the entire class, and you don't know if anybody's listening. So
Hmm.
um, it's kind of, I mean, it's probably an emotional wreck for them too because they just they're just used to the student presence, and that's probably why they became professors, just to reach out to the students. And I feel like it's hard when you're talking in a computer and you can't give your best examples in class.
Sure. A next question for you, follow up to that question. How do you feel you have adapted differently as a student?
I mean, I adapted I adapted pretty quickly to the online everything, especially back in March. I didn't really have a problem with it because I was already taking 2 online classes. So
Okay.
um, I felt it was, I mean, it's been a little bit harder this semester because, I mean, some of the classes, I felt like I needed to be more hands-on and more, um, instead of being online, it actually had to be in class. I felt like I would learn more if I was actually in a physical classroom and being able to do the examples that the professor's teaching us instead of just watching him do it or giving previous examples from previous years on how to do it. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's the only thing I've been struggling with.
Okay. Um, Next section of questions. How has the pandemic impacted your mental health?
Um, I mean, just not, I feel like just not being able to interact with the professors in person and try to get more personal relationship with them. Also, I'm a president of the Association of UND Geologists, so um,
Hmm.
it's hard to be an organization president right now because I have no idea what we're doing. So it kind of puts like a mental like pause on that right now, and like the motivation is dying down a bit because that's just what the pandemic has done. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, me like in classes, I feel like I'm having like it's a harder time paying attention because if it's something boring, then I just tune it out more than what I would be in class. So I feel like it's not helping me learn as much as I want to learn, and it's just like and then doing the assignments and everything like it's a mental challenge trying to figure out everything and trying to remember what he said and or yeah and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So just kind of like a lack of uh, hard to keep motivated with online classes and to pay attention as well, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And the opposite of that, how has the pandemic impacted your physical health?
Uh,
Or has it, is the question.
I mean, yeah, I like last year, um, I used to work out a little bit more than I have. I mean, the pandemic, it's like the motivation, like same with the mental health, the motivation's like decreasing. The wellness, I mean, the wellness center, like it used to be open so much, and then they have all the regulations now with only like 20 people. And they have
Mhm.
20 people time slots, so it's like you just have to put in this extra work that I don't want to do. I mean, my roommates go to the wellness center to another gym just to
Okay.
keep on their routine, but I feel I've had a bit of a lack of um, motivation in trying to keep my physical appearance.
Right. Yeah. Um, which which one of those two has impacted you more, your mental health or your physical? Or is it about
Um,
the same?
I feel I feel like my physical has been a little bit worse than my mental
Okay.
because I mean I just feel like I've been lazy. Like I have more opportunities just to sit down and be lazy due to the online courses. And I mean, mentally, I still have the same amount of homework and everything. So, I mean,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm always mentally, like, there mentally, but physically, I can just do whatever, do whatever I want and expect, like, have the less expectations.
Yeah. So I got three more questions for you here. Um, Next question is, what are some trends that you've observed in your peers due to the pandemic? Or that what has changed in your peers due to the pandemic, if any?
Um, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, their study habits might have changed a bit due to the going online due to the pandemic. I feel like they weren't I feel like they relied on like in class lectures instead of online lectures because I mean they might be like me and be less motivated to pay attention during a online lecture because you have all these distractions around you and you're I feel like in a lecture, you're less prone to those distractions. Um, I mean, I like you could say the same for like the physical aspect. I mean, some people, yeah, like they have like maybe they're more likely to go work out because they have more time on their hands, or they're less likely to work out because all these regulations are being put in place, and it's just harder. It makes it much more harder to actually go out and do it.
Hmm. My next question I have for you is, has it impacted your expected finish slash graduation date at all?
Um, I mean, so I have to do a field camp for my major, which is geological engineering. So,
Okay.
um, I mean, I was going to take it last summer, but then I have to take it this summer. So now instead of graduating in the spring, I'll have to graduate in the summer. So um, hopefully, I mean, South Dakota is pretty because I have to do it at the South Dakota School of Mines. So I mean, they're pretty lenient on their regulations right now. So I mean, hopefully it stays like that, so I can actually take the camp on time and be able to graduate. I mean, if it hits harder there and they decide to cancel it, then it'll be an even bigger story on whatever how far back I get pushed back.
Sure. Okay. And my final question for you is, well, you kind of answered it in the last question. Will you be returning to college this following semester? And since you're a senior, you said basically said if you can finish up this summer or not. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So I have to go through the spring semester, but and then a little bit of summer. But if I'm able to do it in the summer, otherwise, I have no idea what's going to happen.
All right, that is all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for your time, and I will end the recording here.
All right, thanks.